Welcome to Chemical Portage EHS training. EHS stands for Environmental Health and Safety. The goals for this presentation are to understand and find our environmental policy, to understand the ISO 14001 standard, to be able to identify chemical management representatives, to understand aspects and impacts of the environmental health and safety policy, to contribute to Chemico's 2025 objectives and targets, to correctly dispose of waste and recycling, to follow HAZCOM and GHS label requirements, to follow the correct spill response, and to use universal precaution with bloodborne pathogens. Where is the quality and environmental policy found? Nowhere to find the policy. The environmental policy is listed within this policy statement. The quality policy is listed within the corporate policy statements under the word quality. This document is posted in your break room and at your time clock. Chemical LLC Environmental Policy. PNC is committed to supporting the communities within which we operate and where we live. We believe in the practice of social responsibility and encourage similar behavior in our employees. We support conservation of the physical environment and the prevention of pollution in and surrounding our plant locations and proactively comply with all applicable safety, environmental, legal, and regulatory requirements to which we subscribe. We periodically review our programs for conformance and continual improvement through our objectives and targets. PNC is also committed to equality in employment opportunity and rewards, embracing wholeheartedly the cultural diversity within the communities we call home. Environmental Standard ISO 14001 2015. What is ISO 14001? ISO 14001 is from the International Standards Organization, ISO, which is an organization comprised of members throughout the world. ISO 14001 2015 should be used by any organization that wishes to set up, improve, or maintain an environmental management system to conform with its established environmental policy and requirements. ISO 14001 2015 requires an organization consider all environmental issues relevant to its operations, such as air pollution, water and sewage issues, waste management, soil contamination, climate change mitigation and adaptation, and resource use and efficiency. Why commit to ISO 14001? To meet customers' expectations. Our customers strongly urge their suppliers to be compliant to ISO 14001. To meet legal obligations. This demonstrates compliance with current and future statutory and regulatory requirements. To reduce waste and drive down costs. This ensures that environmental impact is being measured and mitigated. Managing environmental obligations with consistency. This increases leadership involvement and engagement of employees. This also increases stakeholder and customer confidence through strategic communication. Lastly, it's the right thing to do. Now it's time to meet our Chemical EMS representatives. For our management EMS representatives, we have Scott Goranson, the plant manager, and Lynette Bankhead, the HR manager. For our specialist EHS representative, we have Adam D., the EHS and BOS specialist. Chemico's 2025 objectives and targets are to reduce electrical usage 3% over 3 years using an average of 2022 to 2024 as the baseline. So the items are tasks, what are we supposed to do? And the responsibility, who does what? So we want to continue to shut down equipment that we do not need to run. This is the responsibility of all employees. We want to look at compressor network or on-demand control. This is the responsibility of the maintenance manager. We want to tag and repair air leaks on all equipment. This is the responsibility of all employees and the maintenance department. We want to research better hoses and couplings and apply as needed. This is the responsibility of the maintenance manager. We want the thermostats set and controlled in each area until programmable thermostats are installed. This is the responsibility of the department managers. And we want to utilize recycle programs to separate waste. This is the responsibility of all employees. Trash and recyclables. Trash is considered food packaging, labels and label backing, styrofoam, and general trash should be placed in a general trash can located throughout the general areas of the break room and plant floor. Recyclables. This is plastic drink bottles, beverage cans, and paper. Portage has a recycling program and has trash cans in general areas of the break room and throughout the plant that are labeled for specific recycle disposal. Safety. Chemical Portage Emergency Action Plan. In the event of an emergency, please follow the action plans below. For tornado, find the innermost shelter of the building to take cover. The designated shelters are the bathrooms. If you cannot make it to a designated shelter, please try to stay away from windows, doors, or machinery. Fire. In the event of a fire, the alarm will sound from an overhead speaker and lights will flash. All employees shall immediately leave the building through the nearest available exit. All employees shall meet in the designated meeting area for the southeast corner of the employee parking lot. Employees shall find their lead or supervisor to report their presence. Employees shall remain in the designated reporting area until released. Evacuation map for CPM. Notice the exits that are located on the dock door as well as the east side of the building. The gathering area for fire is in the parking lot in the northeast corner, and the gathering area for a tornado is inside the bathrooms that are located by the main break room. Fire extinguisher safety. OSHA 1910.157 Fire Team Training. Know the locations of fire extinguishers in your area. Inspect extinguishers monthly. Ensure they are charged and accessible. Use the pass method to operate. Pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the handle, sweep side to side. Only attempt to fight small containable fires. Always keep an exit at your back when using an extinguisher. Evacuate and call emergency services if the fire cannot be controlled. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, required at Cameco. Safety glasses must be worn at all times on the beelines. Cut-resistant gloves are required when handling sharp metal parts or frames. Cut-resistant sleeves are required at designated operations with laceration risks. And steel-toe shoes are required for all employees on the production floor. Accidents, injuries, and incidents. All accidents, injuries, and incidents must be reported to your leader, supervisor, and/or manager and the Chemical EHS representative. Accident reports are required for all accidents, no matter how small. Walking, working surfaces, slip, trips, and falls. OSHA 1910.22, crane rigging, ladder, fall protection, and aerial lift. Maintain clean, dry, and unobstructed walking, working surfaces. Identify and correct slip, trip, and fall hazards immediately. Use proper ladder setup, 4-to-1 angle, secure footing, 3 points of contact. Inspect ladders, rigging equipment, and aerial lifts before each use. Wear fall protection, harness, lanyard, anchorage when working at heights. Crane rigging must be inspected, rated, and only used by trained personnel. Keep aisles, passageways, and access points clear at all times. Report unsafe conditions immediately to supervision or safety team. First room. It is available for triage. It is badge protected but can be accessed by the supervisor or a member of the management team. Please ensure to complete an accident report when utilizing any supplies in the first aid room. Hazard Communication Act Safety Data Sheets, SDS. The federal law for worker safety covering the use of chemicals is called the Hazard Communications Act. Cameco is required to have a safety data sheet, SDS, for every hazardous material you work with. There is the master book in the first aid room and other SDS books located throughout the building. Each book contains an SDS for every chemical you work with. You should familiarize yourself with the SDS book. Specific and detailed information about a hazardous material can be found in an SDS data sheet. The safety data sheet covers what is in the chemical that can harm someone and how you would feel if exposed to a hazardous material. Personal protective equipment needed. What temperature the material will catch fire and what type of extinguisher to use. What to use to clean up a spill or leak. What is GHS? GHS stands for Globally Harmonized System. It is a worldwide system developed with the goal of standardizing the classification, labeling, and safety data sheet information for hazardous products. All secondary containers require a GHS label. Safety data sheets provide more information than the chemicals labeled. There are 6 required elements to a GHS label and 16 required sections to an SDS. The SDS, the 16 sections, cover identification, hazardous identification, composition information on ingredients, first aid measures, firefighting measures, accidental release measures, handling and storage, exposure controls, personal protection, physical and chemical properties, stability and reactivity, toxicological information, ecological information, disposal considerations, transport information, regulatory information, and other information. The 6 required elements to a GHS label include the name of the chemical, whether it is a danger, the type of hazards it can cause, whether it's flammable, and what to use to control it if it does catch fire, whether it has a breathing hazard, and lastly, who makes the chemical. Disposal of special and hazardous waste. Hazardous waste. Only certified employees should handle and dispose of any hazardous waste. Hazardous waste should be stored in the designated area near the north shipping dock. Paint markers, paint cans, and wastewater. The paint markers that are used are toxic. The markers will be disposed of safely by separating from other waste by placing in a containment barrel at the tool crib and removed from the facility by a secondary company for hazardous waste disposal. Universal waste. That's light bulbs, batteries, and ballast. Contact your supervisor if you need to dispose of any of these. Stormwater pollution prevention plan. Do not dump any chemicals, waste, wastewater, paint, etc. down any drains. In the event of a spill, use a spill kit to contain the spill from spreading further into any drains. All waste disposed of in accordance with the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, RCRA, and Indiana State Code IC 13-11-2-99. Response. All spills must be reported to the supervisor, manager, and EHS representative. Report the use of spill kits so that they may be replenished. As outlined in the Hazardous Communication Plan, spill containment method is led by the EHS representative. The spill response team is responsible for cleanup. Spill kits are located by forklift charging and in the maintenance area. All spill kits must remain accessible and free of any debris. Spill kits are audited regularly to ensure compliance with the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, Indiana Spill Rule 327, Indiana Administrative Code IAC 2-6.1, as well as Indiana's water quality standards outlined in 327 IAC 2-10. Some materials are subject to reporting. A full list can be obtained by speaking with your EHS representative. Bloodborne pathogens. Those who have completed the appropriate bloodborne pathogen and spill response training are authorized to clean after one of these incidents. PPE is required at this facility and can help protect against BBP. If you feel you have been exposed, please see the EHS representative immediately. This concludes the CPM annual EHS training for 2025. Thank you for participating. Next up is an EHS quiz. Feel free to come back to this video to confirm your answers.